Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 12 of What If Naruto Was the Greatest Experimenter. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, I post a brand new series over on Anime King of What If Naruto Became the Most Powerful Shinobi to Protect His Younger Sister, part 1 guys. If you're new, yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. I also post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was given special training as a child, so go ahead and check out that over on Anime King 2. And if you're new, yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family, and thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off. The missing team that was Team 7 after all. Their members were incredibly short because of what happened in the past. Over the year and a couple of months, Sakura has grown exponentially. In her training regime as Navi had become her teacher. Kakashi was still there helping her a bit, but it wasn't the same ever since Naruto and Sasuke. With the death of Naruto and the defection of Sasuke, it was strange. However, Team 8 was here to back them up on this mission, so with that they made their way towards Land of Snow, arriving there with none other than Princess Yuki. It didn't take them too long to locate the area as they were attacked by snow ninjas. Neri and the other ninjas came down on them as they fought back up on one of the tallest mountain tops, as Naruto glanced down as he spoke to Anko. She agreed to join him and follow him so far. However, this would be the defining moment where she would have to make the tough choices, because here she would have to kill a Konoha ninja, as Naruto had his plans already mapped out and several things to do to make sure that things fall in his favor rather perfectly here. As Anko told him that she already decided to follow him, and there would be nothing that would be changing that, as she looked down and she saw Kunai. So with that, Naruto's plan came through perfectly. As he watches the two groups clash, the Konoha team was forced to flee back to the boat as Kakashi and Neri perform a massive whale jutsu that clash against one another. So with that out of the way, the boatmen made their way. The others report to Dodo, while Kakashi returned back to his group, unaware that they were being watched the entire time. The group came sometime later as they were told about the real identity of Princess Yuki. Turns out that her name was actually Koyoki and she was the actual princess of this land. When they arrived back towards the location, they came across the trucks that would take them towards the location. However, the princess had fled, as they split apart to make sure they could find her. As Hinata used her Byakugan, she was able to track the princess down, but the snow, it was getting in her way. However, this part though, Shino bugs and Kiba knows as they track for her. However, the person to find Yuki was none other than Naruto. She thought it was one of them as she told him to just leave her alone and let her die. The vicious smirk on his face made her realize that this was not one of her crew members, as Naruto squeezed the living life out of her right there and then, as she died as he tossed her over the cliff as she fell, a far drop. Hinata gasped when she saw him, as she couldn't believe it as she came across the scene. However, Anko grabbed her, as Naruto told her to do it now because he had planned this all. The Kumo Shinobis were also being let go by Dodo, as things went well between the fake Arashi, the persona that Naruto took on along with his sister. So with that, Naruto told Anko to do it as she hesitated. However, she made up her mind. Naruto removed Hinata's eyes, as Anko proceeded to shock her, causing the attack to literally shock her from the inside out, killing the poor girl right there and then. However, not even a shred of mercy was on Naruto's face. They quickly moved from the area, as the Kumo ninjas arrive, as Naruto slipped back into his persona rather quickly. The group wasn't even paying attention as he switched back. Arriving towards the location, they came across a team. He was one that actually led them there. As they saw the dead body of the girl smoking, that is when the Konoha teams arrived on the scene. Kiba's eyes went wide in shock as he lost it. He attacked the Kumo ninjas rather quickly. However, Yujito grabbed onto the defenseless Arashi, thinking that, well, he was nothing more than a civilian. As his sister was also grabbed by Samui as they leaped away. They brought him towards the woods to get away from the fight as Yujito launched a stream of fire. However, the Konoha ninjas were so pissed that they were about to launch himself again. However, Kakashi then saw, as snow ninjas flooded the entire area. Dodo gave them the option to leave this land after all. They were not welcome here. The princess could not be found. Realizing that they were surrounded, and not to mention to face off against these Kumo ninjas, as that girl reserves was incredibly large as Kakashi could feel it. He was able to snap some sense into Kurenai as they decided to move out. The body of Hinata was picked up by Kiba, tears in his eyes. They move on. However, when they arrived towards the scene where the director was supposed to be, the thing that greeted them was bloodshed. The director and his man and Sandio, all of them were slaughtered, as Naruto had paid them a visit earlier. The mission was a big failure as they returned back to the Hidden Leaf, unaware that they were being set up. When Snady heard about this, she was angry. As she tried to keep herself calm, however, she was truly angry. The evidence showed that Kumo was the one behind this. The Konoha ninjas arrived first because the Kumo ninja took a while with the civilians, that being Arashi and his sister. As Hayashi was called and Snady spoke to him, the man kept his facade calm. However, when he went home he had cried. As it might not look it, he loved Hinata. It might not look it, but he did love her. And hear that she was now dead. And not to mention he spent majority of his time acting so cold and distant towards her. It made the man angry as he wanted revenge. They could not let this slide because if they did, the other nations will think of them as weak. So they had to do something. Even Tsunade was angry about this, as she quickly sent a message towards Raikage. All those that were responsible in this was to be sent to Konoha and Konoha would deal with it. The Raikage would not send Yujito there and the rest of his shinobis. And not to mention Naruto, being his Arashi persona, had vouched for them, saying that they came upon the dead body. However, he knew that Konoha was not just gonna lie down and take this, but Kumo was being framed. But neither of them knew that. Snady was gonna call a meeting between her and the Raikage to settle this. But if the man refused, well, he wouldn't like what would happen. Naruto and Anko left the village. As they left in their persona, Naruto saying goodbye to Yujito as she hugged him, as she was catching real feelings for him, but she didn't want to get him drawn into this mess. Shinobis can be really dangerous. However, Naruto arrived towards the location as Anko was there as well. As Anko saw the eye, the Senju and the Uchiha had mixed together to bring out the Rinnegan from the eye of Shisui. As Anko thought that Naruto would be the one taking that powerful eye, however, he told her that it was hers. Now that confused her. He knew that she should be strong by his side, but however, but he simply chuckled because there was no need of that for him, because Naruto was able to break the seal and come in contact with the Sage of Six-Path tomb, as a maniacal grin was on his face. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the playthrough of yourself once they begin this new episode. The Land of Iron, a place known for its old tradition, samurais. There was no ninjas there. The place was neutral throughout all the wars, as they never took part in these wars. It was a location where the first summit had been called, embarking the first Hokage and the other ninjas, when he had handed out the tail pieces. Thus, it was a neutral territory, where no one brought fight or war even in time of chaos. They respected their neutrality. Today was a rather decisive moment as well. Hinata Hyuga was killed by Kumo ninjas. That is what all the evidence pointed to. The favoring of this was not in the hands of Kumo, because people truly believed that they were the ones that were the aggressor in this. However, Kumo denied all of these accusations, saying that they had nothing at all to do with this despite what Konoha might say. But Konoha would not back down. Tsunade Senju was not someone to be pissed off and let it go that easily. Hayashi Hyuga had been mad with rage. The man might seem calm, however. He has a lot of contacts and a lot of influence as well. As Konoha was now angry because of the man, they also want the same thing as well. Revenge. The ninjas that participate in Hinata's death should be brought to justice. Having a prominent clan heir be killed from your village was not something seen every day. Not to mention in times of no war. It was supposed to be a time of peace, even though Konoha and Kumo never have been allied. For her to be struck down like that, the electricity had fried her brain, so even if the Yamanakas wanted to, they could not gather any information from her corpse. Not to mention with her eyes missing, and with the recent shrine a few years ago when she was a 3-year-old child. That go to show that Kumo was definitely responsible, and that is what most believe. That is why on this day, depending on how this panned out, a war might be taking place between these two nations, and thousands of lives could be lost on both sides. As Mifune, the leader of the land of Iron, was there as well to witness all of this. He was trying to make this come out peacefully. After all, no one wanted war, but the two Kages were set in their way. That is why as Tsunade Senju marched, with her two bodyguards behind her being Kakashi Hatake and Might Guy of the Hidden Leaf, making their way toward the summit as the right Kage was coming from the opposite direction as well. This meeting would change a lot in this world. It is only a matter of time before the nations were at war if this did not go as expected. Meanwhile that was going on, Uncle Mitarashi was lying unconscious. She was in a strange capsule. Naruto Uzumaki was one of the richest persons in the entire world, and no one knew that. Under false names and pretenses, he had so much investments. Hundreds of hotels all across the Elemental Nation. Several things in the works. Several facilities that were in the working. And all of those were bringing him income. Not to mention, Gato Company was 100% under him. And not to mention, he also controlled Land of Snow as well. All the influence, all their technology. Land of Snow had technology that no other nation possessed, that is why he was able to use their ingenious mind to create this second lab at the mountain in the base of Kumo. It was not near the village, however. It could not be found by the Kumo ninjas because of the vicinity of the mountain, and not to mention the seals that are protecting it. It was a sage of Six Paths that created these seals after all, as Naruto had been the one to modify them. The capsule was down like a bed, however it was closed. Inside said capsule was Uncle Mitarashi. Liquid was inside. However, her mouth was covered by a breather. Strange tubes going off to several different areas. The water inside was green. She was completely exposed and naked. However, this capsule was designed to help her, as Naruto had began the infusion of the Rinnegan. In a normal situation, a normal body could not handle such magnitude, such power. The body would definitely fall apart. That is why Naruto needed Uncle to accept him. Ever since he had beat her, that mark on her neck was nothing normal. Naruto had the genes of the Mokiton and the Sharingan, blood running through his veins. However, they were inactive. There was a reason for that. However, he pumped small quantities of those in her system. Over time, it started to mend with her own chakra, turning her body naturally stronger. As the longer the seal remained on her, the stronger her body becomes. And he needed time, that is why he allowed it to settle. And for the past couple of weeks, her body has been growing exponentially. And now it was finally time. Her body had reached the perfect capacity. He had implanted the Sharingan in her eye, however. It was time for her body to activate. Orochimaru might be smart, however. Naruto was smart and also an inventor as well. Having the hindsight to bring these technologies, the capsule will help infuse her cell with a Sage of Six Paths. Naruto was able to extract DNA from the man's corpse to make Anko's body more dense and more powerful. For her to hold the Rinnegan, however, the process will take some time. But it was not just a Rinnegan either. Thanks to Hinata volunteering her eyes. Well, that was not exactly true. The Byakugan will be implanted in her other eye for maximum mobility with the two use of these bloodlines. Once the process was done, Uncle Midarachi would be a new woman, a strong, powerful, unstoppable woman at his side. Naruto glanced over the machines as everything was working perfectly. Two of his subordinates were here to watch over the process while he made his way. As he had several more things to do, the process will not be done that easily, it will take some time. His evolution has not even begun yet, because Naruto was gonna go 10 steps further than what he was doing to Uncle, to himself. However, he needed Uncle weak, he needed her there to make sure that everything went well. So for now, all he had to do was wait. However, he's gonna work on his new project. And that involved the death of Orochimaru. As a wicked grin spread across his face. Time skip. Gurren was currently making her way back to her lord, Orochimaru. As Naruto had arrived and she asked him where he had been, he told her that he was doing some stuff. She knew that it was her job to interrogate him and found out what he was doing. However, lately they've gotten rather close than she expected. It was strange. He became a friend. A good friend. And not to mention she had some dreams about him. Dreams that she would never want anyone to find about. However, being so close to someone like him, it it affected her more than she thought. The reason being, Gurren was loyal to Orochimaru. Well, she thought that she was. Things have been changing. However, she was loyal to Orochimaru. Orochimaru had this thing about him. His whole demeanor, his snaky vibes, his cold, distant look. And Naruto has all of that as well. So being so close to Naruto, it brought up some strange feelings that she didn't want to process at the moment. However, recently, he started to badmouth Orochimaru in a strange way. He did not go right out and said it, however, the way he spoke with no respect for her lord. However, Gurren did not say anything about it, as she just allowed it to continue. She knew that was wrong, and if Orochimaru found out that she just stood there and listened, he'll be quite upset. So she wouldn't tell him. However, Naruto has told her something that she deserved a better life than this one. That if it was up to him, he would allow her to go with Yukimaru and just live her life, because she did not deserve this. Before she had met Yukimaru, she wanted to give her body to Lord Orochimaru and make him use her as his vessel. However, he did not. He saw Sasuke as his perfect vessel, and that angered her. However, she did not say anything about it. But now Naruto has been speaking about it, it made her think about a new life. A life where she could be happy. Yukimaru by her side, as he was the closest thing to a younger brother that she had. However, those thoughts has been changing with Naruto there as well. And she didn't know why, and she didn't want to focus on them, because that was just wrong, right? She was supposed to be watching him, not having these feelings. She couldn't allow anyone to find out about them. So for now, she just kept herself quiet and reserved. However, the feelings were not going away. Well, at least she was going to see Yukimaru today and report to Lord Orochimaru. Despite what happened, she's going to tell him that nothing happened, as she didn't want anything to happen to Naruto. Not to mention, she wanted to live her life as someone different now. However, the thoughts were conflicting with her reason to serve Lord Orochimaru, so she did not think about them. However, Naruto knew that she was going home. And he had said those things on purpose as well, because things were playing right into his hand. Meanwhile, the approximate time has been 2 years and 4 months since Sasuke left the village. However, he was not going to be too cocky to run into anything, as Sasuke believed that he was strong enough though, but his mindset has been different ever since he had killed Naruto. He was going to be cautious just in case and ready for anything. That is why he's not jumping in to go and fight Itachi, even though he did possess the Mangekyou and he's been training with it in secret. He wasn't allowed much time to train in secret because he was always being watched. However, he did find some time. And no one knew that he possessed these eyes, especially not Orochimaru. He disliked that snake and he would never allow him to get hands on his body, ever. So Sasuke has been training in secret the entire time and getting stronger with his eyes. And it was only a matter of time before he revealed them. At the moment, he was currently sleeping in his bed. However, unaware to Sasuke, the reason for him not jumping the gun was not because of his own intuition. It was none other than Naruto. Naruto was a crafty, tricky person. Orochimaru had a lot of low-level subordinates, but he still had his eyes on them. It wasn't easy to switch one of them out with his flunkies, not to mention with the Sound 4 being there and Kimimaro as well. However, it was doable, which Naruto did a year ago, as he placed one of his special ninjas under the command, and that was none other than Haku under his mask. The Sound ninja that he swapped Haku with was a ninja that wore a mask because of a nasty scar on his face. However, because of Fuinjutsu, a replica to switch Haku was perfectly made. Not even Orochimaru was skilled enough in Fuinjutsu to understand what happened there. So it wasn't often, but Naruto numerous times has snuck into Sasuke's bed and inject him with a very sleep-induced toxin, strong enough to plague his mind. With a sudden genjutsu, Naruto had cast many images inside of Sasuke's head to make him relax and not jump the gun. It was like an illusion in an illusion, if you might say. However, tonight, as Naruto stood over the sleeping Uchiha, tonight was the night that he finally made his move. Once again injecting Sasuke and weaving a few genjutsu, Naruto placed a thought in Sasuke's head about Itachi slaughtering his clan over and over. The injection also placed Sasuke in a numbing state. However, his head was thrown from left to right, but he would not wake up yet. Rage on his face as he grit his teeth. Unconsciously though, his eyes snapped open. However, Sasuke was still asleep. His Sharingan switched to the Mangekyou, as in his mind he was seeing Itachi slaughter his family. He saw Orochimaru taking over his body. However, there was something else as well. He also saw the benefit of having an entire army under his control, as there were several girls here that were efficient enough, one of them being a few that he had scouted out in the past couple of years. They would be useful to rebuild his clan. He can make the Uchiha name great once again. These dreams plague him. It felt like he was in there for years upon years, but it was just a night. However, the next morning Sasuke woke up unaware of that he was being tampered with. The only thing in his mind was absolute rage. And Sasuke decided to make his move. Kabuto was not in the air at the moment. Orochimaru needed some special medicine, so he had to leave. Strangely enough, all the medicine herbs were gone. He realized he might have mistakenly not packed them. Orochimaru would be severely pissed about that. So he had to go immediately, as he couldn't find any of the herbs, unaware that they were being tampered with. So he left. The Sound 4 was sent on a mission, so they were not involved, as they got a message from their lord, from one of the Sound ninjas, to go and collect something. Kimimaro was not in the perfect state because he was slowly dying. So Sasuke had the perfect advantage. Everything was so perfect for him, unaware that someone was just giving him this everything. Orochimaru was currently not feeling so well. The time was coming for him to swap bodies. In a couple of months, you'll have to swap bodies, or things would not be so good for him. As for young Yukimaru, he was in another part of the base that was far away from this location. However, a Sound ninja came to fetch him, telling him that Gurren was here to see him. The boy was really extremely happy as he made his way. Meanwhile, Orochimaru sat on his bed, as he could feel the feelings of withdrawal. His body was slowly, his eyes widened as he leaped. A blade of lightning stabbed right into the wall, destroying it. The door was sliced. This lightning manipulation, it could only be. As Orochimaru watched, "Sasuke, what are you doing?" he said. "I'm here to kill you," said Sasuke. "Kill me? You must be losing your mind, Sasuke. It seems like you're not feeling well today. Why don't you go and rest, and we can talk about this." Orochimaru the duck. Once again, Sasuke shoved the lightning, trying to bisect him. As Sasuke had this dark smirk on his face, his Sharingan flared to life. "I'm not here to talk. You're unfit to lead your people." "I'm unfit," Orochimaru said, narrowing his gaze. "Yes, I've decided I will be the one to take the reins and control this entire nation," Sasuke said with a smirk. "You must have truly lost your mind," Orochimaru said. "You think you can be me? I intend to be better than you, said Sasuke. But it's not like you will live long enough to see what I will accomplish. You wretched child. It seems like I have to speed up the process and take your body now, Orochimaru said. However, Sasuke's eyes morphed into something more dark. I would like to see you try, he said. As his Mangekyou appeared, the Sannin was shaken in shock, unable to believe that Sasuke reached such a level of the Sharingan, and he was never even aware of it. This was bad, really truly bad. The Snake Sannin started to clash with the Uchiha, as the people around started to feel the presence of the two violent chakra clashing. However, Orochimaru was not in 100%, and not to mention Sasuke possessing the curse mark on the Mangekyou Sharingan, and not to mention the abilities that come with the Mangekyou, certain abilities that put Orochimaru's ability to shame. He didn't stand a chance, as he was reminded of Itachi when he was put in that useless situation where Itachi was gonna slice him to pieces. However, Kabuto was able to save him back then, but Kabuto was not here. A few useless sound ninjas tried to intervene, however, they were all slaughtered. Not by Sasuke or Orochimaru, someone else was there. Yukimaru started to run when the base started to shake and items started to fall. As Yukimaru came to a stop, when he heard someone calling his name, Yukimaru. Yukimaru turned as he saw that it was none other than Naruto, standing there. As this was the guy that helped Guren. Guren told him how nice this guy was. As he rushed over Naruto-san, he said, "What is?" Yukimaru watched as Naruto held up his hand. He stopped in confusion as electricity started to form on his hand. Naruto-san? Yukimaru screamed as electricity slammed into him violently. As the boy cried out for bloody murder, his body thrown, he smashed through the wall. He died the moment his body made contact with the wall because of electricity, destroying his entire system. As rubble and debris fell on top of him, killing him. As Naruto smirked as he sunshine away, out of the vicinity. The both Snake and Uchiha clash. In the end, Sasuke came out on top. It seems like their battle caused a few much debris to fall. As Sasuke noticed a few dead sound ninjas, debris over their bodies. He did not pay that any mind as he saw the remaining few. Sasuke, what happened to Lord? That is Sasuke-sama to you. Remember this well. Mistake it again and you will die. The shinobi was frightened as he looked toward Sasuke. Sasuke-sama, he said. What happened to Lord? Orochimaru is now dead. I killed him with my bare hands. They gasped in surprise. All of them afraid to do anything to him. I am the one that will now take his reign and take control of all of you. If anyone has anything to say about that, you are welcome to die as well, said Sasuke. His Mangekyou Sharingan striking the fear of coming into their hearts. None of them said anything about it. Sasuke smirked to himself. It did not take too long for Kabuto to arrive. Kabuto was cautious as he saw the sound ninjas. They were all petrified in fear. However, they were doing their work as they usually did. However, Sasuke noticed something was wrong. The bodies were moved towards the dead section where their shinobis were put when they died, to be buried. A young body was there as well, Yukimaru, who died in the casualty. As Kabuto came in surprise when he saw Sasuke sitting down in Orochimaru's throne. "Ah, Sasuke, what are you doing here?" he asked. "Orochimaru is dead." Kabuto stood there shocked and petrified. What do you mean Orochimaru is dead?" he said. "Exactly as I mean it, he's dead. He died by my hands." A rather amusing joke, but I insist that you stop it right here and now. Sasuke Mangekyou flared to life as he got off the throne. "Do you see me joking?" he asked. "What have you done?" said Kabuto. "Exactly what I said. I slaughter your god. And now I'm in charge." "Have you gone mad?" Kabuto said. "Perhaps," said Sasuke, "but it does not change anything. I am the one in charge, and all those who stand against me will bow or die. There's only one chance that you get, Kabuto." As you can see, as Kabuto found himself in an illusional world, where he witnessed what happened to his lord, Sasuke absorbed him. You killed him, said Kabuto in shock, still not believing that it was real. As Sasuke walked towards him, as I said, you have only one choice. Stand against me and die, or serve me and survive. There is no third or fourth option, only those. So choose immediately, before I decide to just end you for not responding. Kabuto found himself in a sticky situation. From what he saw from the battle those eyes were able to produce, abilities from a wide range that he would not be able to survive. Sasuke has grown exponentially powerful under their grasp, and now he had the power to end him. Sasuke did not trust Kabuto one bit, however. He can be useful. He's seen how useful he is, and if he get him under his control, well, he could control him fully. Kabuto was not a leader, he was a lapdog. Kabuto had no choice but to listen for now. There is no way in hell that he would ever forego his own self-worth for Sasuke of all people. But for now, going against him would require his death. Not to mention these sound ninjas were scared shitless. Kimimaro was not able to fight. With the position that he was in, the Sound 4 was not here. Not that they would stand a chance. And Gurren, when she found out, she would be furious, however. He doubted that with those eyes, Gurren can defeat Sasuke. This was bad. So he had no choice. As he dropped to one knee, fine. I'll serve you as I serve my lord, he said. Good, Sasuke said. And know this, Kabuto. Stand against me, and I'll turn you into dust, Sasuke said. The arrogance and anger coming off him, showing that he was dead serious as those eyes looked into his. Kabuto actually felt a shiver went down his spine. Meanwhile, Gurren arrived back towards the location. However, before she could enter, Gurren-sama. As she turned to see a Sound Kunoichi coming over towards her, she motioned for her to come. Gurren sighed, annoyed by this. This better be important. Gurren-sama, Orochimaru-sama was slain by Uchiha-sama. What? Yukimaru. Yukimaru's what? As she didn't really care about the Orochimaru part when she heard Yukimaru is. Speak, woman! Moments later, Gurren found herself at the morgue section. Tears filled her eyes as she looked at the burned, crisp body of Yukimaru. From what the Sound Kunoichi told her, a lightning technique must have struck him when he was just minding his own business. The rage that swelled inside of Gurren was nothing normal. Her eyes leaked. However, she was not making a single sound as she clenched her fist in pure rage and anger. She was pissed. No, she was violent. The only two people that she first cared about in this world was Orochimaru and then Yukimaru. And now they were both gone. She lost it. However, she was able to create a clone to take Yukimaru's body out of there, just in case for him to get a proper burial. As she rushed towards the main location, the Sound Ninjas only saw the woman rushing as she moved. Rage in her eyes, anger in her step. She kicked the door off the hinges as she saw Sasuke sitting down on Orochimaru's throne. Ah, Gurren, you're here. I thought it might. Sasuke leap as she decimated the throne with hundreds of crystals. I know that certain people like you and Kimimaro will not listen. That is why you people, as much as your potential will go to waste, he has to leap away again as she was relentless. Executed. However, Gurren slammed her hand together. She created a massive crystal dragon as Sasuke brought out to Sano and slashed it to pieces. The half body of Sano reached on top of the room as it cracked, the walls falling down. You truly do not understand the power that I, Sasuke Uchiha, possess. The both of them clashed. Because of her rage and her not thinking straightly, Gurren was beaten back harshly. Sasuke Mangeto giving him a leverage that she did not have. Gurren found herself at a disadvantage as she was thrown. They clashed as she hit the wall several times. As she tried to avoid his black flames as best she could, her crystal serving as a way to protect herself. However, by the middle section of the battle, Gurren was cut, bruised, bleeding rather badly. As she tried to pick herself up, Sasuke was getting tired. He didn't have much practice with the Mangekyo, however. Once he was able to calm and rest himself, he would be fine. And he couldn't be using eyes like this. After all, he hasn't faced Itachi yet, but he had to make sure that these people understand who was in charge now. As Sasuke raised his blade towards her, as he had dropped the Mangekyo back into his normal form as she was already defeated, there is still a chance for you to submit to my rule and survive. Screw you, she said, as he simply raised his hand. However, as Sound Ninja rushed into the room, the kunoichi from before, as she launched a kunai towards Sasuke, forcing him to jump back. Gurren looked towards the woman, surprised that she would be helping her like this. Gurren was bloody and battered. It was then that she saw a holographic form of Yukimaru. She didn't know if it was because of all the blood loss or because she was dying. Gurren, please don't do this. You can't die here. Please avenge me, he said. Even in her delirious state, she did not even focus that Yukimaru would not tell her to do anything like that to risk her life. However, she knew that she couldn't die here, as the kunoichi was black-handed by Sasuke. However, she pulled her shirt apart to show that she was wearing a roll of explosive notes. Gurren got up as she started to flee. As fast as she could, however, she was not fast enough. She was blown away by the explosion. But because of her proximity away from the kunoichi, who did it on purpose, Gurren's body was shooted outside as she crashed. Sasuke was able to put up his Susanoo just in time to block the explosion. Gurren picked herself up, her body aching in agonizing pain. However, she fled, running as fast as she could, making sure that she got out of there before anyone else could do anything to stop her. She had to go. The kunoichi had killed herself. Sasuke realized that there were still some that were not understanding the true might of what took place here or what is going on. Sasuke stepped out, rage on his face, his Mangekyo shining, despite him using a large amount of his chakra to keep it up. But he was proving that he was the one in charge now. Several ninjas arrive. Gurren has just tried to assassinate me. Her failed attempts have her running from my location. The next time someone steps foot in this base, and if I'm not notified by that, I will kill every single one of you. Do you understand me? He said. They all shuddered in fear as they heard that, as they bowed their head. Now go and kill her immediately. She's weakened and she won't put up much of a fight. Bring her head back to me. Now, he shouted. As they all made their way off, Sasuke knew that he was now deep in this, as he had to make sure that they all listen and follow. His plans were working perfectly. It was just a matter of time before they realized that he was in charge. As for Gurren, she was able to get back outside. Luckily, her crystal clone had gotten far enough. She was wobbling, however, she still had enough chakra to move fast as possible to get, as she didn't have enough chakra to stabilize her crystal clone. As she was low on chakra, so her clone melted away. As the body of Yukimaru dropped right on the coastal area, luckily there was no one around, as Orochimaru base were always in a isolated area. However, Gurren was losing a lot of blood, and she felt her vision fade that she saw Yukimaru's body. Tears came to her eyes as she started to run. She rushed as she dropped right in front of his body. No, she said, as she could feel the ninjas reaching up to her. No doubt Sasuke sent them to kill her. At least, I'll die by your side, Yukimaru, she said, as she held on to his hand. However, that is when she heard footsteps as she looked up. Gurren. As she blacked out, the sound ninjas arrived towards the location as they found blood. However, the trail stopped here. There was nothing around. It was like she just vanished. Sasuke Sama is not going to be happy about this at all. Meanwhile, all of this was going on, Mifune was making sure that everything was going to go well. He had his samurai set up in all over the area, as in 2 days the meeting will commence. Given the two of their locations, it was rather difficult for them to arrive, but they did arrive. He was making sure that everything would be perfect so that none of them would come to blows here. Knowing how violent these two types can be, the Raikage was aggressive and angry, and Tsunade was not one to just sit down and take judgment. However, the meeting will begin soon. Meanwhile, that was going on. The sound ninjas had returned back to their base, and they found out the big news. All of them were shocked by that, however. They did not try to kill Sasuke because if they tried to attack him, who would be having their back? The other Sound Ninjas were too afraid, and Kabuto said that. He was serving Sasuke's sama now. Sasuke was there, but still, they could see that Kabuto won't even go up against him, so what made them think that they had the possibility of defeating him? Sure, most of the members of Zone 4 was cocky, however, they were not stupid. However, there was a secret that Kabuto did not tell Sasuke, and they realized that. And for that as well, they weren't able to find Gurren. Sasuke was pissed off as he knew that she was out there, but he didn't really care. He would just kill her when she showed her head once again. As Sasuke took up the mantle of the leader of the Sound now, as no one had spoken about this because he forbade it to happen. As he wanted things to be quiet, he didn't want people to know that Orochimaru was dead yet, or that he was behind until he was 100% in charge, which he was not yet from what you've seen. However, the Zone 4 was now gathered, all of them in a room together. What the hell are we gonna do? Are we really gonna list this asshole? Said Teiwaya. As the room was secure and Sasuke was not there. What can we do? Said Jobo. Orochimaru-sama is truly dead. He showed to us, as he showed them the Genjutsu. He was able to affect all of our minds at the same time. It just goes to show how powerful he has gotten. Damn it. If they hadn't been training that asshole so much, he wouldn't have reached his level of power, which should have left him for dead back then. Things have changed, Teiwaya, said Seikon. For now, we're gonna listen to him. I don't know when, but we're gonna make a move to avenge our lord. Because there is no way in hell that I will forever listen to that asshole. For once, I can agree with your cursing. That Uchiha is arrogant. And I plainly don't like him. Me too, said Kidomaru, but at the moment we can't go up against him. Yeah, that's right. So I guess for now we'll just have to play along, I guess. As the members not in agreement, Kimimaro was not in a state to even be aware of all of this because of his sickness. Time skip. It was finally time. Tsunade sat there, as this was just a formal thought before the real thing started to pick up. She sat calmly as she waited, as Guy and Kakashi were always there as well, watching her back, making sure that everything was right. The door opened up, as Mifune stepped in. He greeted her properly as she should be greeted, as she greeted the man back as well. A moment later, the Raikage stepped in, followed by C and Darui. The both of them made their way up to their positions, where all the bodyguards should be. The Raikage sat down, as he met Tsunade glare with his own. Now, the meeting has not even started yet, said Mifune, trying to calm the two tensions that he could sense picking up. These two were the violent type, so it would not be easy. He took a breath. Alright, let us commence. The Kage meeting between the Raikage and the Hokage. I am sure that the both of you are eager to get to the matter of hand, so I will not waste much time with pleasantries. Hokage-dano, you're the one that called this meeting, so I presume that you should go first. Tsunade opened her mouth as she looked towards the Raikage. It's simple really, she said. Hand over the shinobis that were the ones to deliver the killing blow to Hinata Hyuga, the team that was there to assist them. And Konoha will do with them as they please, she said. The Raikage scoffed. Raikage-dano, said Mifune, would you mind not intercepting with any of the Hokage's speeches until she's finished? You have your time. Oh, I'm done, said Tsunade. Oh, said Mifune as he turned towards Raikage. You can go ahead now and speak. Well, I presume you understand what that scoff meant. I will not be handing over any of my shinobis, or anyone for Konoha to do what they please with because Kumo was not behind this. My team was there on a bodyguard mission. We had nothing to do with the death of your shinobis. Tsunade clenched her fists. So you are not getting anything. And this discussion was merely formality because I assure you, you will not force me to anything. As Tsunade's eyes were showing pure anger towards his statement. So this is really the way you want to do this, she said. First, you came after the Byakugan. 14 years ago, you went after Hinata Hyuga, but you failed to take her. However, her father killed one of your shinobis, and that is where you play your trick to demand the head of the Hyuga. However, my sensei, being a calm man that doesn't want war, was able to come to a peaceful terms. However, you still didn't get what you want, because the clan head and his brother swapped with each other because they're twins, and you got the body of Hisashi. And you were rather vengeful ever since that, even though you were the one to attack us in the first place. There is no claim of us ever doing something like that. So check your statement. Oh yeah, you weren't around back then because you were all over the Elemental Nation, drinking and gambling. The Raikage said. You think of me as my sensei, said Tsunade. Know this. I will not back down on this, or neither will the Hyuga clan. And if you want this to go out of commotion, if you want to take this to the extreme limits, I assure you, me and the entire forces of Konoha will take it to the extreme limits as well. We will not stand for your attack on our shinobi and just lie down and take it. So I'm going to ask once again, hand over the shinobis that are responsible for the death of one Hinata Hyuga, or else. The Raikage simply sat back as he folded his arms. Do as you please, he said, but you aren't getting a single one of my shinobis. The tension in the room was so thick you could cut it with a knife, the both of them glaring at one another. As Tsunade's fingers started to dig into the table, as the wood started to creak, electricity started to spark around the Raikage. The guards started tense. Enough, said Mifune. The land of iron is a neutral nation. Having to do nothing with their conflicts, this is a place for you to talk and sort this out. Nothing will be sorted out until he hands over his shinobis. Well, I guess nothing will be sorted out to Raikage as he got to his feet. And I'm done keeping up with this bullcrap. I will not be handing over my shinobi. Fine, said Tsunade. I hope you enjoy the consequences. Mifune Dano, thank you for your hospitality. We will be taking a relief now. So soon, said Mifune. You guys still haven't yet? Oh, this meeting is quite over, she said. He understands where I stand and I understand where he stands. The only thing left now is to settle this. Konoha will not stand and take this amount of disrespect. And Kumo will not back down to any threats. Said the Raikage as they glared at one another. As Tsunade turned and took her leave. However, she stopped right at the door. Remember, you could have ended this peacefully, she said. As she made her way out with her guards. There was no stopping this. The Council of Konoha already came to the agreement to go to war if they deny their option to send in the team that killed Hinata. After all, if Konoha was to just lie down after this, every other nation would see them as nothing but weak and pathetic. And the council couldn't allow that. Despite Danzo not even being there, they were still rootful with the idea. After all, they could see how much their image rating would drop if they were just let this go. However, Tsunade thought that she could solve this in a political way by talking to the man. However, he was stubborn and he would not agree to anything else, so she was going to agree for him. And they were going to war. Neither party said that they were going to go to war. However, one of them is going to start it first, and shinobis will die. And with the missing 9 tails from Konoha, Konoha will be commandeering the 8 and the 2 tails from Kumo to make up for that manpower. That is why she had called Jiraiya back and had him working on 2 powerful seals that should be enough to contain those Bijus. They spent 5 long days speaking about this, and this was the only outcome that they could see because Kumo would not take responsibility. And Hayashi was not about to let this go, as he had called in several contacts around the Elemental Nation that were on Konoha's side. Konoha allies knew of this. However, Kumo had a problem in that department. Kumo didn't have as much allies as Konoha. However, they had more shinobis than any other nation, and most of their shinobis were militarized. They had less civilians than any other nation, not to mention they had 2 powerful Bijus. But in Konoha you had people like Asuma Sarutobi, Might Guy, Kakashi of the Sharingan, Tsunade of the Sannin, Jiraiya of the Sannin, and several powerful others that would not back down. As soon the war will commence, and everyone knew that. So with that, the Raikage returned back to his place, knowing that this was the outcome, as he've already been prepared. Yujito was rather upset about this whole thing, as he found himself in the wrong place at the wrong time and now they were being blamed. And because of them, war is gonna start, but Konoha would not listen, so this was the only outcome. However, she thought about this. There was only one person in her mind, and that was Arashi. As a part of her just wanted to go and run away with him and not be a part of this, but she had to defend her village, as she and the others were the main reason of this. So with that, everyone was making a move, things were moving, the wheels were turning, and the place was becoming rather dangerous. Meanwhile, that was going on to a secret location, as the masked man was leaning back with a smirk on his face. Zetsu had just reported back to him that war will soon commence in the Elemental Nation. This was a good opportunity for them to gather the tail beasts while war was happening. However, the 9 tails had still not recovered yet, and that was a big problem. It was the most powerful that they needed, and not to mention the 1 tails had still not recovered either. And given the time frame, something was seriously wrong. And the 3 tails had also not recovered yet. Kiri has been developing behind the scenes. Yager had died some time ago because the masked man was behind the controlling of Yager. Meiterumi had been the one to kill him and take over. However, the 3 tails had not recovered. Something was going on. The Akatsuki's were still working as mercenaries. Most of the nations were unaware of their true goals. However, it seems that their services will be asked to partake in this war by Kumo. After all, they had the manpower that any village would need. The Tishikage also overheard about this aggression between the 2 nations, and he was finding it rather amusing because there was also a chance for his village to come out swinging in the end if he played his cards right. So for now, he just remained silent through the whole affairs. Kiri was not going to get involved. They recently came out of a civil war. Jumping into a world war would be chaotic. However, tension will rise and rise until everyone is hit by the force. But the Akatsuki was not having such a good time, especially the masked man, as he was not sure where the 1 or the 9 tails or the 3 tails were. Something truly terrible was happening and he cannot put his hands on it. For some reason, it felt like someone else was pulling the strings, someone that they were not seeing, and that was the worrisome part. Something was happening and he was not in charge of it. The tail beasts were going missing one by one. Something was wrong. Meanwhile, Guren finally woke up, as she was delirious where she was. She jumped out of bed only to find her body in agony. There was bandages wrapped all around her. As she looked around, she was on the island. She knew this place. It was her room on the island. How did she... Ah, you're awake. As she turned, she saw Naruto standing there. What happened to me, she said. As Naruto looked at her. I'm afraid to say this, but he didn't get to say what he had to say as she remembered everything. No, she said. Don't tell me what I'm seeing is true. Don't tell me what I'm remembering is true. Unfortunately, yes, he said to her. I'm sorry, Guren. Tears came to her eyes, and she clenched her fists. Rage boiled up inside of her. I was able to bring you and Yukimaru back. How did you... As she looked up towards him. I was actually going to speak with Kabuto, however. Turns out that he's now working with Sasuke. And Sasuke not knowing that I'm alive. I didn't want him to find out. So I had to flee. It seems like they've turned against us, with Sasuke now in charge. And Yukimaru was an unfortunate person in that accident, said Naruto. I'm so sorry. Bastard. If it's the last thing I do, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna maim him. I'm gonna make sure that he suffers. She winced as she stressed her body out too much and moving. Her wounds started to act up. Easy. He roughed you up pretty bad. You almost died on the table while I was trying to make sure you were alright. You lost so much blood. The tears still flowed from her eyes, however she did not howl or cry about it too loud. However, the rage in her face. I want to see him, she said. As she pulled herself up, despite the pain she ignored it. She followed Naruto as she saw Yukimaru's body. with a sheet over his head. I was waiting until you wake up so that we can give him a proper burial. Yeah, she said. That would be good. As she tried to conceal her emotions, however, she was a wreck. But despite the agony that she was going through from moving so much, Naruto had already dig a plot for him. As Gorin watched as he laid him in the ground, the tears did not stop flowing. She felt so defenseless. She felt so open and weak right now. As Naruto walked over and hugged her, she did not protest. She hugged him and cried. Orochimaru was like her little brother, and she lost him. Even the fact that Orochimaru was now dead, Orochimaru's importance outweighed his at the moment. As she just cried right there and then. Her face was emotionless as she finished. She decided to block off all of her emotions. However, she was having a hard time doing so. She felt so open, unable to really go on. Once she killed Sasuke, she would have nothing left. I guess it's time I leave, said Naruto. She looked at him shocked. What are you talking about? Well, Kabuto is no doubt gonna tell Sasuke that I'm alive. And then Sasuke is gonna want to hunt me down to find out what is going on. And soon the entire world will find out. By some reason or another. And not to mention you want to kill Sasuke. So I can't go with you. No, you can't leave, she said. I need you here. Why? I'm not a part of this. I know, but she couldn't find a reason why she could say for him to stay. I have my own goals, old things to do. So I have to leave, he said. I'll be leaving by tomorrow as he started to walk away. Wait! What's wrong, Gorin? He said. I need your help. You said yourself he has Kabuto. I know that you're powerful. Lord Orochimaru told me that you're powerful, incredibly so. I know that you haven't shown me what you're truly capable of yet, but I need your help to make sure that that bastard die. I'm sorry, but I can't put your interests before mine. I have too much to do, and I have not accomplished enough to put my life in jeopardy. I care about you, Gorin, said Naruto as he stepped forward. However, once you do get your revenge, what then? I mean, what will you do? Orochimaru was a family member to you. Even without blood, you care about him more than anything else in this world. You would literally die for him. So once you do get your revenge, you would just stop trying. And then I would be left to clean up the mess, getting myself hunted and killed in the process. So I'm afraid I can't help you as he started to walk away. No! She grabbed his shirt. You can't just leave. I need you, she said. As Naruto turned towards her, he just looked into her eyes as she looked rather fragile. And in truth she was feeling useless right now. She knew that she could not face Sasuke by herself, she would die. As Naruto gave her a look, he just looked at her. It was like he was looking through her, seeing her very soul. I'm not a good person, Gorin. Who is, she said. There's a lot you don't know about me, I don't care, she said. I need you to stay here and help me. You said we were friends. A friend should help out a friend. I'm afraid it's not that easy, said Naruto. I mean, there's a good chance that I will die in this. I know, but I can't do this by myself. I have to get revenge for Orochimaru. He cared about you as well. He said that you were not the nicest person he knew. Are you really just gonna let Sasuke get away with this? Gorin, I have a lot to do. Why do you think I fake my own death? Putting my face out there in the public is not something I thought I would have to do so soon. So I'm sorry, but I can't help you. Unless what, she said. You do something for me. Tell me, I'll do it, she said to him. Don't be so hasty to agree to what I say. You haven't heard what it is yet. I assure you I'll do it, just tell me. As long as you stay here and help me, I'll help you in any way I can. Well then, it's quite simple. You serve me, said Naruto. Gorin was taken aback at his attitude change. You decide to serve me as you serve Orochimaru with that amount of loyalness. And I'll help you. You're right, Gorin. I'm a lot stronger than you know. And I can help you get your revenge. However, it would not be that easy. Sasuke now has a lot more power than I expected. Gurren wondered how the hell did he know that. However, she did not comment on it, not to mention he has the Sound 4 and the rest of Orochimaru forces and Kabuto. So it won't be easy. There's no doubt that he wants you dead for what you did. So, serve me unconditionally and loyally, and I will help you get your revenge. I will help you become stronger than you can even imagine. Gurren looked at him. How can you... Before she could finish her statement, the place got so thick with a chakra that forced Gurren down to her knees. Gurren could understand the malice, the power, the absolute feeling like she was standing in front of a being that was superior to her in every way possible. It's like she was standing in front of a god. His body glistened with a strange purple aura that leaked from him. The power that she was feeling was far surpassed Orochimaru-sama. Gurren found her entire body shaking as she was unable to understand the amount of power that this person possessed. And it only felt like the tip. It vanished so instantly as she was breathing very heavily. She was unable to get up off the ground. I can make you as strong as me, Gurren, he said. As long as you choose to serve me, follow me, and remain loyal, I will make you stronger than you can even imagine, and you will have your revenge. Gurren's mind was shaking in shock, unable to fathom the power that he possessed. And at the moment she was vulnerable, and she didn't want him to leave, she needed him. And something savage just snapped. She had to make him stay, she had to do what he says. His power corrupting and twisting a part of her that she tried to block out ever since she met him. The dreams, everything snapping into her at once. He extended his hand. As her hand came up, I'll do it, she said. I'll serve you. I'll be loyal to you. She did not even talk about the fact that she was doing this for Yukimaru, even though she still wanted gutted Sasuke. However, she looked into those eyes. She felt so vulnerable and open, like he was looking directly through her, like he owned her. And a strange part about it was she wasn't so upset about it. On the inside, Naruto was smiling. Wonderful, he thought. Meanwhile, that was going on, as the subordinate of Naruto was watching the machines, when he heard them starting to beep. As Anko was ready faster than expected, it seems like her body took to the transformation quicker than Naruto would even estimate. The subordinate moved over, the other one watching them out of the cave. However, the one in the center moved closer as he saw the machines all beeping. As he moved closer, he watched Anko's body start to shake and spasm. He moved closer, about to summon his lord. However, her eyes snapped open as he found himself looking into a Rinnegan and a Byakugan. It seems that the fun was just getting started. Anko was able to achieve this level of power, and Naruto was gonna go far above that. However, the masked man was now curious about what was going on in the elemental nation that he was not seeing. Problem was coming Naruto's way. However, Naruto seeked divinity, and who could stop him? Soon enough, the entire world will know his name, and they will tremble in fear and awe. But guys, if you end subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on that bell notification, post about more. See you guys soon. Peace.